Hello, this is Brighton TV and this is the match preview for Brighton vs Man City and versus Liverpool. It was really disappointing the first few minutes because we made two errors at the back which Liverpool ended up capitalising on to make it 2-0, and that made us on the back foot straight away. Webster and Proper making two big errors at the back, but I think Webster ended up making up for it with his build-up in other key chances, and the build-up to our goal, Webster was key in that by bypassing quite a few opponents with a pass to Gross, who flicked it onto Lamptey for when he thrust it into Trossard to score. He was well in that, and after his mistake, he played well. And we had so many chances where it looked like we could have scored. And our biggest one, I'd say, was probably Burn. We had a set piece and it fell to him where it looked like he really should have scored. It looked like it was harder to miss than score. And he somehow managed to miss it. And that would have been 2-2 and the whole game would have changed. But the game ended up dying after we conceded a corner from Mo Salah, who ended up scoring a header in the 76th minute. Due to a mistake by Lamptey, because he was unable to pick up Salah from the corner when he was man marking him, who had a free header. And I'd say 9 out of 10 times Salah doesn't get that ball and nobody thinks of that corner. And since the restart, City have been really inconsistent. At home, they've been great. They've won all their four home games. They've won them by at least 3 goals, which shows that when they're on form, they can score for fun. But then away from home, it hasn't been good. They've lost both of their away games by 1 goal. That shows that defensively, they can make mistakes and you can get something from this game. And since they're away from home, hopefully their poor away form continues. And Sergio Aguero, their best striker, is injured, so that could be a big factor in us getting something from this game. And City, how I think our best way is to beat them is to not concede too early. If we concede the first goal, City are so good at just keeping possession, not letting other teams get the ball, which limits the other team's chances greatly. So we can't concede the first goal, otherwise City will be able to just dominate the midfield, dominate the ball, and we'll have a really little amount of chances. And another thing which we can counter on is how City's fullbacks play. Their fullbacks invert, they play really narrow to help with the build-up. So I think the best way to counter their narrow fullbacks is to play with wingers and hope on the counter-attack that you can go and exploit that space left by the fullbacks. And my lineup for this game, I think it should be a 4-3-3, as I said, to counter what City's weaknesses are. And I think in goal it should be Ryan with a back four of Burn, Dunk, Webster and Lamptey. And Burn, I think he's a really good aerial threat, and I think set pieces could be key for us for this game. So that's why I think Burn should play. He's great set piece threat. Dunk was great versus Liverpool, and Webster, as I said earlier, despite his mistake after that, he had a good game. And Lamptey, I was debating whether he would play or not. He's played so well since the restart, but the thing is, he started the last 4 games in a row, so I wouldn't be surprised for Potter to drop him for him to get some rest. And my midfield 3, I think, will be Stevens, Bissouma and Moy. And I think there should be a midfield 3 to combat City's midfield 3 and try and make it so we are not dominated in the middle. So that's why I think Stevens, I thought he had a better game than Proper, and we need 2 more defensive midfielders, in my opinion, versus City. So that's why I think it should be Stevens and Bissouma. Bissouma, we missed him versus Liverpool. His energy, his able to intercept and tackle, he's so key for us recently. So that's why I think Bissouma should play. And Moy, he's able to create from deep and he's able to get forward when needed. So that's why I think Moy would be better than someone like McAllister or Gross. And we saw versus Liverpool, McAllister wasn't as suited to playing in the midfield 3. He wasn't dropping back as well as he should have. So that's why I think it would be better to have an experienced player like Moy in the side. And the front 3, I think it should be Trossard on the left wing, Jahanbakhsh on the right wing, and Maupay up front. And Trossard, he's been really good recently, great form, he's been creating lots of chances, so that's why I think Trossard should play. He's also able to exploit the space left by the City fullbacks, along with Jahanbakhsh. I think he gives us something else. He gives us lots of width, as I say a lot of times about him. He's really good right-footed right winger. He's able to keep the width, which City's fullbacks, as I said, they invert, they go really narrow, so they'll be able to combat that. And his goal contributions for his limited minutes has been great, so that's why I think Jahanbakhsh should play. And Maupay, he's really good at building up, really good at link-up play, and that's why I think Maupay should play. He had a couple of chances where he ended up setting up other Brighton players, but was unlucky that he didn't get an assist versus Liverpool. And my score predictions for this game, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think it's going to be 2-2. And I think Maupay and Trossard will score for us, and for City, I think it'll be Sterling and Mahrez. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Brighton TV and follow us on Instagram.